Okay, so let's talk about making a really good group decision. I mean, a perfect life or death decision with tens of thousands of members, no leader in sight, and a clock that is ticking down fast. It sounds impossible, right? Well, the answer, believe it or not, comes from honeybees. And what they do has a ton to teach us about how we can work together better.
Just try to picture this for a second. You've got this giant, humming cloud of 30,000 honeybees, all clinging to a tree branch. They've just bailed on their old hive because it got way too crowded. So now they are literally homeless, totally exposed, and they only have a few days of honey packed with them before they starve. The pressure is on.
And that right there is the million-dollar question. There's no queen bee barking orders, no CEO making the final call. No, it's a completely democratic process where the stakes are, and I'm not exaggerating, life and death for the entire colony. So how on earth do they pull it off? Well, this incredible phenomenon has a name. It's been studied for decades by a biologist named Thomas Seeley, and he calls it honeybee democracy. It's his term for this ridiculously effective, decentralized way that a group can make a brilliant choice.
So let's just take a moment to really understand the massive challenge that these bees are up against.
Okay, so the swarm needs a new home, and they need it fast. But here's the kicker. It can't just be any old spot. It has to be the best possible option out there. So they have to check out tons of possibilities, get thousands and thousands of individuals to agree on just one, and then all fly there together. And just to say it again, nobody is in charge. It's wild.
So how do they do it? This brings us to their truly unique and kind of beautiful system for communication and building consensus. It's a really cool four-step process. First, a tiny group of scouts, we're talking only about 5% of the whole swarm, they fly out to look for new homes. When a scout finds a place she thinks is promising, she flies back and basically advertises it with this special dance. Other scouts see the dance, they get interested, and they fly out to check out the site for themselves. As the excitement builds for the best option, they eventually hit a tipping point, what's called a quorum, and bam, the decision is made.
And this waggle dance, it's the absolute heart of their democracy. You know why? Because it's an honest signal. A scout bee literally can't lie or exaggerate. The quality of the site she found is directly linked to how energetic her dance is. If it's an amazing 5-star home, she'll do this long, vigorous, enthusiastic dance. If it's just a mediocre spot, she'll give it a pretty short, lazy-looking dance.
This whole system is so effective because it's built on just a few simple but really powerful rules. Thomas Seeley figured out there are 5 key conditions that make this kind of collective genius possible. These 5 rules right here are their secret sauce. Let's break them down, one by one, because this is where the really big lessons for us humans start to show up. First off, the swarm actively looks for different options. The scouts don't all go to the same place. They fly out in every direction and they explore on their own. This makes sure they don't just lock onto the first decent option they stumble upon. Instead, they gather a really wide range of information about a whole bunch of different possibilities. Second, like we just saw with the waggle dance, the entire system is built on honesty. There is just no room for BS or misinformation. The dance is a true, reliable reflection of a site's quality, and that allows for a fair and really accurate debate to happen. Third, and this one is huge, no single bee can force her opinion on anyone else. A scout can't bully another bee into agreeing with her. The only tool she has is persuasion, doing a more energetic, more convincing dance. It's a true marketplace of ideas where the best argument actually wins. This next one is so important. They don't wait for every single bee to agree. Can you imagine trying to get 30,000 bees to agree on anything? It would be a disaster. It would lead to fatal indecision. Instead, they just need a small group, only about 15 to 20 scouts dancing for the same site to pull the trigger. That ensures they can move quickly once a good enough consensus is reached. And finally, the bees don't just blindly follow the most popular dancer. When a scout sees another bee doing a really exciting dance, she doesn't just take her word for it. She flies out to check the proposed site for herself. It's a trust but verify system. This independent check prevents groupthink and makes sure the final decision is based on solid, first-hand evidence from multiple bees.
So, what happens when you take these bee principles and you put them right next to how we humans usually make decisions in groups? Well, the comparison is pretty eye-opening.
I mean, the contrast is just stark. Where the swarm has all these diverse scouts bringing in ideas, our meetings are often totally dominated by whatever the most senior person in the room thinks. Where bees have an honest debate, we have people just deferring to authority.
Where bees use persuasion, we often see powerful people shutting down disagreement. And the result? Swarms make fantastic decisions fast, while our meetings can just drag on and produce pretty lousy outcomes.
And this story just illustrates the human lesson perfectly. After studying these bees, Thomas Seeley had this aha moment. He realized that in his own lab meetings, whenever he, the professor, spoke first, his grad students would just kind of nod and agree with him. So he made one simple change. He started speaking last. He let his own scouts dance first, creating the space for a real, honest debate.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. The wisdom of the swarm isn't about bees being individually smarter than us. It's about their process. They have perfected a system that creates the right conditions for a group to become collectively intelligent. It's the structure, not the individual genius in the room, that guarantees a good outcome.
So the next time you're in a group trying to make a tough decision, just try to think like a bee for a second. Ask yourself, are we actually encouraging different ideas here? Is our debate honest? And maybe most importantly, are we creating a space where everyone has a chance to show what they've found, or is the most powerful person the only one who gets to dance?